Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. Always, I had spoken last 2 days on types of master, how does master operate, and certain things. If there arises any question or you need to know more, you can message me and I will look into in the subsequent sessions. But today we are going on another journey. Always see life in its positive dimensions and should not give emphasis to the negative. When I say always see life in positive dimension and do not give emphasis to the negative dimensions, that does not mean it is a choice. This is not in any way encountering the total reality. It is a choice, but one who is negative, whose approach is negative, cannot jump towards choicelessness. So in order to attain to the state of choicelessness, first you have to move from your present dimensions of seeing life in its negativities to positive dimensions. If you can see life in its totality, it is good, but it becomes impossible in the beginning. From the negative, you cannot take a jump into choicelessness, because negative mind means that you can see life ugly, you can see only the misery, death, and nothing else. So first you have to move to the negative dimension to positive dimension. Only then you can take a jump into choicelessness. Only a person who is living life in positive dimensions can be choiceless. You cannot see, unless you can see positive elements in life, you cannot be choiceless. And remember, it is difficult to lose misery easily, to lose the negative. It may look strange when I say that it is difficult to jump from misery. You cannot forget the misery and all those problems that you have in life. For that, you have to enter into the positive dimensions. It applies to everything in life. You have, if I speak to you about sex, in sex you had many negative experiences. It is very difficult to come out of that unless you are experiencing the positive dimensions of it. The moment you start feeling the positive dimensions of it, and you are fulfilled. Happiness comes to you, courage comes. With happiness, the possibility of higher avenues to open comes to you. With happiness, the whole world seems to be familiar to you as your home. You can frisk gaily all around, but this is necessary to bring you out of the negative state, from the negative dimensions towards life. You have to enter the positive dimensions. It applies to everything. If it comes to sex, negative experiences remain a lot. Their memory cannot be easily faded unless you go into the positive dimensions of it. When I say positive dimensions of life, it applies to every aspect of your life. With misery, the world looks a hell to you. Sex looks a painful act and miserable. And there is no hope. Everything is just hopeless. Sex is hopeless. Relationship is hopeless. The life is hopeless. Then with that you cannot jump into choicelessness. Misery makes you coward. You cannot take chances. If you have a continuous failure in life, you cannot be courageous. Unless you have experienced the positive dimensions, you cannot take the jump. And the one who is miserable, he is coward and clings to misery because at least he knows misery. You cannot be adventurous when you are unhappy. Adventure needs a subtle happiness in you. When you have experienced subtle happiness through anything that you are doing, then you can leave the known and enter into the unknown dimensions. So first and the foremost thing is for the Master to lead you into the positive dimensions of life. And when you start moving into the positive dimensions of life, then it is easier for you to leave the known and enter into the unknown. Otherwise, there always remains the fear of the unknown. No one wants to go, specifically a person who is experiencing the negative dimensions of life or misery. It is very difficult for him to move into the unknown. There remains a fear of death. But one who is living the positive dimensions of life has experienced subtle happiness through any act that he or she is involved into. It is easier for that person to enter into unknown. And happiness has become such a deep phenomena to you that you know that whatever you will be, I am not saying doing, whatever you will be or doing, you will be happy. Whether you do this way or that way, you will be happy in every situation. You have started looking life into positive dimensions. Take for example The sex has been miserable for you. Because of that, you had abandoned it. You felt that it is, and then you started pretending that you do not need it anymore. But certainly you need it. Because when you are at the peak of fulfillment or your positive dimensions of life, then you can leave. Otherwise, the hankering will always remain in you. You know, whatever, when you have started experiencing the life in its positive dimensions, then you know whatever you are led into or whatever you do, it may be surprising. You may be surprised that how did I achieve it? But you will be happy, and there will be a constant feeling that anything that I am in or I am led into will make me happy and more happy. With positive mind, you know there is no hell, there is no misery, and wherever you are, whatever you are doing, whatever you are being led into, there is heaven in it. You can move more into the unknown because now you know that heaven moves with you. Anything that you do, heaven moves with you, through you, and it leads you into more and more trust, more and more into love. You have heard that you enter heaven or hell, but that is nonsense. No one enters heaven or hell. You carry your own hell. When you are looking at the negative life in its negative dimensions, when you are looking at life in the positive dimensions, everything leads you to a state that you are in heaven. And whenever you enter into heaven. They are not the doors, they are burdens you carry with you. Only when you start looking life in its positive dimensions, only with a dancing heart, only with humming and singing, when you enter into any act, happy, blissful, positive, you can take a jump into the uncharted. You are always ready. What new you are being led into? What new, unknown life is leading into you? You are open for everything that comes your way. If you are in love, then you are open for whatsoever love brings into you, whichever way you are certain it will add a new dimension. That is why I say that from the negative you cannot attain to choiceless. Only when you have experienced life into positive dimensions, then you can make a choice. Today I want this or don't want it. You cling. When you cling to your misery, you cannot be choiceless. You cling to your misery, it is known, you are acquainted with it, you are related to it, and it is better to remain with the known misery than the unknown. So, in the beginning, when somebody is leading you into the unknown situation, unknown realms of life, you feel concerned. But if love and trust is there, that happens with the master, you are ready to experiment. You are ready to go into. And the moment when you go into it totally, you experience something that you have never experienced in life before. Then it becomes easier for you to enter into that aspect of life, experience that dimension of life even on your own. And it is better to remain, then you are not remaining in the known. You have created a certain day when you are miserable, you create a defense mechanism. When you realize sex have not fulfilled you, then you create a defensive mechanism that I don't need sex anymore. Now, if you have started going into the positive dimensions of it, you have started experiencing blissfulness, then can you say that you are not interested in it anymore? An unknown you have already created the defense mechanism which comes like inhibitions that prevents you from going into the unknown. It has come like an armor and you feel safe with misery. An unknown misery will create a new defense mechanism, and then you feel that it is always better with the known misery than an unknown misery. You know your experience in life has been that in sex life that it has not given you fulfillment. You create a barrier, so you don't want to go into, you're always hesitant in going into another relationship. You know the result of each relationship is the same. With happiness, when you start experiencing something of the beyond, I am speaking in a very broad sense because the love relationship you have known already. So it is better to give you the example of that which you have known. If you start this process of the negative dimensions begins to reverse, so you give it a try. You say that I want to give it a try. And when you give it a try, you experience something that you have never experienced in life before. You get courage. You are encouraged to go more into it. So with happiness, when wants to move into the unknown, happiness because the known gets boredom, creates boredom into you. You never get bored with known misery. You enjoy it more. Look at people talking about their misery. They are never fed up of that. They always rejoice talking about their problems. They enjoy it. They magnify their misery and problems. They have a subtle happiness because they have not experienced the happiness outside the dimension of their misery and problems. With happiness, you get bored. You can move into the unknown because the unknown is very attractive. It and the choiceless, when you are choiceless, it opens the door for the unknown. This is how one has to move from negative to the positive. From the positive, first you have to move from the negative dimensions of life to positive dimensions of life, and then from positive dimensions of life to choicelessness. Now, when you are moving from positive dimensions to choicelessness, it is easier for you because you have experienced the blissfulness, and only then you can transcend beyond that. A miserable person cannot transcend beyond and reach to the dimension of light. This is how one has to move from negative to positive dimensions, and then from positive it is easier to take the jump into the choicelessness. First, make your mind positive. From hell, move to heaven. And from heaven, you can lead to liberation, to freedom. So I have to consciously take you, knowingly lead you into the positive dimensions of life, overall life. Then it can ultimately lead you to the state light beyond duality. Sex is dualistic unless you start experiencing it deep within. For the sex fulfillment, you don't need the company of the other. You don't need any object or anything for your blissfulness. This is from here begins the journey of liberation or freedom. Freedom from the known and the freedom from unknown. Many systems end when you attain freedom from the known and you enter into unknown. That is why I said there are only 4 paths, 4 systems that can lead you to transcendence: Tantra, Sufism, Zen, and Tao. No other system, Hinduism, Christianity, or Islam, can lead you to transcendence. They allow you to swim within the known boundaries, known dimensions. So from misery, move to bliss, and only then you can move to the beyond both known and unknown. The Vedanta teaches you one aspect: life is the positive. Buddha went into neti, neither this nor that. So you have transcended beyond the positive and the negative. Transcending beyond the negative, going into the positive dimensions, transcending beyond the known and entering into the unknown dimension is not liberation, is not freedom. Freedom is when you transcend both. You have a coin. You are looking at the head side. Can you transcend if you turn the side towards the tail, that you have transcended the coin? Can you use the coin to obtain the object or something that you want to get in life? Just by switching over from head to tail In order to attain to blissfulness out of that, you need to discard, to relinquish both sides, head and tail, and give the coin to the one. Take this coin and give me a drink, or give me something, I'm hungry. If you are not hungry, you can play the game, turn from this side to that side. This is a very simple way of explaining to you. If you are really interested in transformation, then you have to give the coin of duality. The known and unknown both are dualistic. The male and female is both dualistic. In order for the liberation, the man has to go beyond the woman, because the man and woman are both within you. When you give up that coin, and what you get in place of that, in exchange for that, it is the outcome of the two. Giving up the two, the head and tail, the known and unknown. How would you explain that state? When you have given the coin, the head and tail of the coin, not only head and tail, but the total coin. You cannot give head alone, you cannot give tail alone. You have to give the whole coin, which is dualistic, with head and tail. You have to, in the same way, there is a coin that is, one side of that is known, the other side of that is unknown. When you talk about samadhi, sam means equal, same. Dhi means meditation. When you reach to the state of meditation, when you are not dualistic, you are equipoised, balanced, you consider it the highest state. No, there is a dimension beyond that, beyond samadhi also. And that is what really is transcendence. That is what really is liberation. Liberation is not moving from misery to happiness. You have not moving from known to unknown. It is going beyond the dimension of known and unknown. Life is neither unhappy nor happy. Life is a combination of happiness and misery. It is dualistic. When you go beyond life, only then you are liberated. And I teach you that dimension. When you are beyond life, and that is the life which can never be taken away from you. You transform. That's why it is important to transform the mind first from misery to happiness. Then you go beyond both. You understand the head, you have known it very well. You have known the tail very well. You have understood the known, you have understood the unknown, then go beyond that. Sometimes after this talk happens, the talks are not mere talks. It is with the words, with the flow, the music flows, and it is the tawajjuh, the energy field that waves into you and gives you the taste of the beyond. But this is simply a taste to you. You have to go practically choosing one aspect of life, one dimension of life, whatever appeals to you the most, the action. I will give you example. If you like cooking. Start from the known to unknown. Then you will transcend it. If you like sex, go into it. Move from the negative dimensions of it to the positive dimension of it. When you have moved from negative dimension to positive dimension, then you can be choiceless. There will be no hankering in you that if I had done this with anyone else, it would be better. No, you have experienced the both states, then it is easy to transcend. You can take any act to remove the inhibitions in your life. You have asked inhibitions. I'm giving you a generalized way. You are going to a restaurant. You don't know. Someone told you that this restaurant is very popular and a large crowd goes to this place. The dishes are very tasty and all this, so you have come to experience that. The waiter comes to you and tells you this dish, what the ingredients are, how it is made. When you see the menu, and in the menu a little description of the dish is given, so you don't know about it, you are coming to it for the first time. It is said that there you are looking at it, tandoori paneer tikka or tandoori chicken tikka. So it is a description is given. The tender pieces of chicken or paneer is marinated in a particular mixture of herbs and spices for a certain period of time. The flavors infuse into the product. Then it is baked. It is baked in the tandoor at a certain temperature and then immersed into a particular kind of gravy. The gravy can be of your choice. You can use the white gravy. Usually this item is served in the red gravy, which is tomato and onion based. So I don't know what it is here. I have never tasted it. Should I order it or not? Waiter said, sir, you should try it. And I can guarantee you that next time when you will come, you will order it again. So you somehow feel that the waiter, you may think that the waiter is doing his job, or if you trust him, then you will say, okay, all right, I'll take your word and try it. So then next time when you go, you are looking for the same waiter to serve you. Does it not happen to you that way? So what he does, as a master, he knows that particular dish, he has tasted it, and he convinced you to go into that. And when you experience it on your own, you will trust is built, and then slowly and slowly you can go beyond that. So this is a crude example that is part of each one of your life. So when you come to the company of the master, you explain to him your miserable life and problems, he tells you something. you have trust in his words. You find his words are convincing. His mannerism, his way of expression is transforming and very convincing. Say, okay, I would like to give it a try. And when you give it first time, you say that I will give a try. And you feel within there is, I have already experienced so many dishes. Let me go into it again. Two choices are, either you will be convinced, whatever has been told to you, it will happen, or it may not happen that way. But if it is with a master, certainly based on his experiences, it will happen to you. Food everyone likes. Sex is the food, not only for the body, not only for the mind, but being as well. But sex usually is performed at the physical level. Psychology is not incorporated into it. What to talk about the being aspect? If the food is cooked with is a blend of spices with a proper understanding of the various spices that are used in marination of it. There are certain secret ingredients that he puts into to bring out the flavors. That's why in culinary art there are certain flavor enhancers. So when the chef cannot bring the subtle flavors, he puts the flavor enhancers. So the master puts the flavor enhancers into the act that he is leading you into that. And when it is coming to Tantra, he adds the flavors to your physical sex act, adds the flavor of psychology into it, beyond the psychology, and many things into it. And the ultimate result is that you can experience yourself. When waiter tells you something about a particular dish, convinces you, you experience, yes, the man was right. The waiter was right. Next time, you tell me which dish I should try now. And the waiter comes, oh, so you have come back again? I know that you will come back again. So how was the food that time? Oh, really very good. Tell me what you want me to try today. Don't you ask the waiter that? I recall when we used to go to a particular restaurant, we always ask, tell that Chef Ram Singh or XY Singh that I am here, make the dish for me. If you are familiar with that restaurant, don't you ask? Apply this principle to everything that you do in your life, every dimension of your life. If you go into sex, go it that way. Life is both, neither this nor that. It is either both or neither. It depends on you how you look at it. You can look at it from a negative mind, from the head side or from the tail side. From the side of the mind, when you are looking at it, one side is hell, the other side is heaven. One side is misery, the other side is bliss. This is only your interpretation of it, your experience. You have to change your outlook. Start moving from the negative to the positive first, and then you enter into the dimension of totality. only this much for this morning. Until next time we continue, and if there is any question that you need me to explain further, I will go into that. Until then, take care.